Blue 42! Blue 42! Hot, hot, hot! Hot, 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 hot! Hot! Omaha! Omaha! Oh, what a good afternoon, everybody. It is.
You didn't do my favorite one.
What?
I like when they go, when they see something in the line of scrimmage you don't like. Remember Carson Wentz used to do it? He'd go, kill, 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 kill.
52 is to like.
And it always just be kill, kill, just automatically meant run play to me. Because they were like checking out of something.
I love when they talk trash at the line of scrimmage.
Cam Newton's the best one.
Yeah, Cam Newton.
Pointed out Clay Matthews, like, oh, you watch film. Good for you. Watch this.
Yep, I like that. Daily Kicking. Hello, everybody. Of course, we are all fired up here on The Gambler because today is the start of the Philadelphia Eagles season. Yes,
we're here.
There's training camp. They reported today. I get it. A lot of people out there be like, talk to me when they take on the Patriots. You're not in the radio business. You're not in the content creating business. All right. So today is the official start for football season.
I mean, Sean, we are almost a week away from the Hall of Fame game. We are a week away from NFL preseason action. Jets, Browns, Hall of Fame game.
Nice work by you.
I have it right in front of me.
That's a good call by you because I had no idea. Now, Jets, I like. Browns, I definitely like. I think that's a good game. Unfortunately, no one's going to play.
Of course no one's going to play.
Not see Rodgers playing.
You don't need to see Rodgers. You get to see extended Zach Wilson time and Tim Boyle and even Chris Streveler.
Wow.
And then the Cleveland Browns, you're obviously not going to see Deshaun Watson, but you get Josh Dobbs, Dorian Thompson-Robinson.
Ooh,
that's a great one. Rookie from UCLA. Rookie out of UCLA.
Well, look.
That's a fun one.
Will I be tuned in?
Yes
I will.
You will be. 100%. Because I'll make you.
No,
actually, let's go out. Let's go out for that. Thursday night. Extra. Why not?
Now you're
gonna order wings, a couple beverages, just to it's preseason for us too. We got to make sure that we're in game shape.
No, believe me, I'm there. Trust me on that one. All right, we got a lot to get to. We will get into the Eagles conversation.
Yeah, our game shape is a little bit different than their game shape.
A good friend of the program, our guy Bill, who hosts a podcast over at Legal Hands to the Face. It's on Twitter. It's on Instagram. We're hoping to do some more with Bill. He's going to be joining us coming up at 3:35. We'll get all of his thoughts on the upcoming Eagles season, Eagles training camp, storylines, all that good stuff. And Philly Debatable, new edition of Philly Debatable coming your way at 5:30. So jam-packed 3 hours for you. We have the Eagles conversation. We have the NFL conversation, including something that you and I discussed probably about 3 weeks ago when we had Rodney McLeod on the show. And we asked him, what is the definition of a dynasty?
I heard they got brought up again.
It did get brought up again. We'll get Patrick Mahomes' thoughts on it about the Kansas City Chiefs, whether or not he thinks that the Chiefs are already a dynasty. Fun NFL show coming your way. But, of course, as always, we're going to start with what's hot. And, unfortunately, it's not the Phillies Pats. It is the Phillies game that they had last night against the Baltimore Orioles where they lost 3-2. And, John Jansen, there's a lot of outrage right now at
everyone. At
manager Rob Thompson, I would say to start Trey Turner too. I mean, you go down the list, everyone's all fired up.
Kyle Schwarber as well.
Yeah, how did I not put Brandon March in there? Let's just start with the blame game for you. Where does it start? To me, this loss last night, and again, I put my hand in the air saying that I was making a big deal about this 3-game set against the Baltimore Orioles because I wanted to see them go out there and win last night. I thought last night was a very winnable game. Going into it, I hopefully you listened to the Daily Take because around 7th inning is when I started to hear it on the broadcast and I started seeing tweets. Oh, they could be without 2 big bullpen arms. Well, we were talking about that all damn day here on this show yesterday.
And what were we also talking about? The Phillies can't hit.
Yeah.
And guess what? You were right about the bullpen, but it didn't matter because the Phillies lineup stinks.
Unfortunately, yeah. If I could do it all over again, I would take the under 9.5, which came in with ease. I would not have taken the Baltimore Orioles, though, and I saw a lot of
I would not have done that.
That was a very winnable game, and the Phillies should have won that game last night. But they didn't. Now, here we are. People want heads to roll here, Jansen. So I'm going to ask you, if you had to pinpoint blame on a group or somebody, just as far as circling that name on the back of the jersey, where do you stand?
I mean, it's so obvious. It's the lineup. And it's not how it's ordered, and it's not what Rob Thompson, the players he takes in and out of it. It doesn't matter. Like, everybody gets upset when Thompson puts in Josh Harrison. But what's the difference? Nobody is hitting well in this lineup. Yeah. Nobody. And then I get things like, well, move Bryson Stott up. What's that going to do? Bryson Stott's not that far off from Kyle Schwarber. Don't look at average. Stop looking at average. Stop looking at average.
I disagree.
Average means nothing.
Yes, it does.
It means nothing.
You're not.
It truly means nothing.
The problem with this world right now is
it's not a problem.
We've had rules. We've had things that we've just, life in general. We've just been doing it a certain way for decades. And then all of a sudden, you young whippersnappers want to come out of nowhere. The next thing you know, I have to think about whether or not I'm calling this person a him or a he. And I don't know. I'm confused. I don't know. And now all of a sudden, batting average doesn't care.
Batting average.
Yes, it does. How do you figure?
Because not all hits are the same. Not all hits are equal. Not all results are equal. So Bryson Stott's single up the middle for, a weak contact is the same as Kyle Schwarber's home run that goes 10 rows in the stands. Like, it's different. That's a different result. And they're two different hitters. Kyle Schwarber is one extreme. Bryson Stott is the other. Bryson Stott has no extra base hit power. He does not hit for any power, while Kyle Schwarber, that's all he does. They're two different extremes. But the thing is, you want to know what the biggest difference is, Sean? Mm-hmm. Kyle Schwarber actually has results. He has previous numbers to back up him being a leadoff hitter. Bryson Stott does not. Every moment that the Phillies have put Bryson Stott as leadoff hitter, and they've done it a lot. It's not like Bryson Stott has never been a leadoff hitter before. Correct. The Phillies did that. And the reason why Bryson Stott's not doing it anymore, Sean, because it didn't work. So shuffle the lineup any way you want. It just isn't as easy as, Marsh and Stott at 6 and 7 are hitting well. Move them up, and, now you have a 300 hitter, or you have this type of hitter, an 800 plus OPS hitter at the top of the lineup, and that is the exact results you will get. It never is the case. Bryson Stott is hitting 650 as a leadoff hitter this year, Sean. Okay. 650 OPS. Yep. His OPS in the sixth spot, 900. It's a different way of looking at the game. It's a different perspective at the top of the order. It's different. So just moving these guys around isn't able to fix it. What needs to happen is Kyle Schwarber needs to be better. Yeah. Bryce Harper needs to be better. Yeah. Trey Turner needs to be better. Yeah. Nick Castellanos, Shintaro Muto, they need to be better. Yeah. That's all it is.
All of the above.
Like, the top of the lineup needs to be better, but just moving your guys from the bottom of the lineup up to the top doesn't change anything.
So what we do is we cross our fingers and just hope something changes?
You hope that the players you paid all of that money for, that they start doing well.
Change the lineup at
you
all.
Don't change the lineup. You don't change the lineup. You don't change. If you want to shuffle around a little bit, Harper at second, Turner maybe down the fifth, whatever you want to do there. But it doesn't, because Bryson Stott isn't going to be your number 1, 2, or 3 hitter on a World Series team. He's not going to be that. Kyle Schwarber will be, or Trey Turner will be, or Bryce Harper, because their level of production is much higher than Bryson Stott. And it's not happening now, but in order for them to get where they want to be, it has to happen eventually. And you have to keep going with those paid players and those high-level players as long as you can.
I understand, but you're telling me the definition of insanity right here. That's what you're giving me.
It is.
But when it comes down to it, you just, like, I have to do more than just cross my fingers and say, well, I hope they hit today. As my job as a manager, motivator, I got to do some things that maybe send some tremors through the locker room. And I'm not sitting here telling you that that's going to be the end-all, be-all, but just hoping that Kyle Schwarber all of a sudden figures it out, or this guy, whatever it is, 1 through 5, Trey Turner figures it out.
Trey Turner. And I think after last night's game too, because that was frustration boiling over. I don't know if he should have gotten ejected, but that was definitely frustration kind of boiling over.
He should have got his money's worth. I thought that was a very weak ejection.
It was.
You were having a terrible game. You're having a pretty bad season, right? Even though it's not as bad as people want to believe it to be, but when you look at the contract, the shiny new number, 11 years, yeah, it's bad. It's bad. I get it.
But I would be fine if you want to sit him for a couple of games coming up here in the next week or so, or whatever you want to do. Drop him in the lineup. Yeah. Trey Turner's the one I would be fine with.
We're dropping Trey Turner in the lineup. God forbid you move somebody to the top that can see pitches, that can work a pitcher to start a game.
That's fine, but again, I caution you're not going to get the same results from the guy hitting sixth as you are when he moves up to second. It never is that case.
You know what? Give me a 10-game sample size. Go put Bryce Stott at the top.
We have a 197 at-bat sample size of it, and he was horrendous.
When you approach him and say, "Hey, we're in a little bit of a slump right now," and look, he's got to look himself in the mirror. He went 0-4 last.
Yeah. Also, Bryce Stott hasn't had a hit in 3 games. He did walk 4 times against Cleveland, but he's not hitting.
We know what he's capable of. We also know, I don't think that's the answer to all of a sudden flipping the switch and winning ball games here. I don't. The Phillies have lost 5 of their last 6, including 3 games where they scored 2 or less runs in those 3 losses. It's crazy right now. But to sit here and say you can't change anything, and I know you said Trey Turner is fine. You have to do something if you're the manager. But again, he's not in panic mode. He's pretty sure that they're going to go get a bat or something, and that's going to send a little shockwave through the lineup.
They have to get a bat.
They have to. But I don't believe it's going to be anybody of the caliber that we're discussing, like Coach Bellinger or Arenado. This team is top 4 in salary. They're not going to go out there and all of a sudden add
can get a Cody Bellinger because he's a rental. He's a 1-year player.
But there's going to be other teams that are competing for a shot to get into playoffs. A team like the Baltimore Orioles that are one of the best teams in the game that should absolutely hammer down and go for it. Go out there and get a guy like Bellinger and bring him in. Instead of somebody that's, a nice little piece to add.
Yeah, I agree with that. And even take it a step further, is Bellinger good enough? I mean, if you were to say what type of production would make the Phillies back to being an NL contender again and a World Series.
They have it.
It would have to be. Well, they have it. But with the way the lineup's playing now, I don't know if it's going to come together this season. I think in order to get to that lineup, you would have to get a Nolan Arenado, which they have no chance of getting.
None. Why do you say that?
It's a very small chance.
That's the contract that is ridiculous, and now you're going to add that into the mix. Yeah, it's absurd. But that's the hope that the Phillies fan has right now. Again, just another ugly loss last night. I know that there were some people wondering what would happen if they held Harper up in the 8th inning, and I had no issue. And let me tell you, he wasn't stopping. I don't care who was the third base coach. Could have been Ozzie Smith. It could have been Ricky Henderson at third base. It could have been Dusty over there. It didn't matter who was the third base coach. Bryce Harper wasn't stopping, whether he got the red light or the green light. That's Harper. He's going to go hard. He's going to get after it. He had himself a nice jump.
I don't see any reason not to send
him. I didn't have an issue with it either.
You can't hit. So in order to try and get extra runs where you can, I think that was a great spot to do it. And heck, he was, a few inches away from doing so?
Yeah, I didn't know about the slide. Like, dude, go and
if you want to question that, fine.
What's that all about the hand?
The way he attacked the slide, yeah.
Get your foot in there.
Give him as less view to tag as possible.
I think he scores if he goes feet first. Or I don't want him to slide head first in the home plate. You shouldn't. You should not do that, whether you're wearing a cooking mitt or not. And
the way the rules are now, you can do that.
Oh, by the way.
Okay.
Let's just, again, outlaw the home run shuffle. Oh, and now these cooking mitts are finding their ways in the Little League and teen, like high school ball. Yo, parents, if your kid's 10 years old and he wants a cooking mitt to slide, come on, man.
Just give it to him.
No. What's going on with this world right now? Little Timmy doesn't need a cooking mitt to slide into second base. First of all,
I always wish I could get a different face mask when I was in football. If kids want to look the part, let them do it.
You shouldn't be sliding head first. No, because then if you go up there, you got this thing hanging out your back pocket. Unbelievable.
Really, that's you're
Yeah.
just drawing a line.
Yeah, I'm drawing a line. Outlaw the home run shuffle.
Let the kids be
Enough
kids.
of this. And the
Don't
compliments,
outlaw the home
get
run
out of here
shuffle.
with that nonsense. The whole stutter step around third base. It's like, come on. I saw somebody tweet that. I'm like, damn. Somebody tweeted, like, do you see this? This is what we're getting now, MLB. It was Manny Ramirez's kid. And he, like, my man was doing the salsa around third base.
Yeah,
like,
did I hear something like, "Oh, your father would never do that"?
Yes.
Yeah, Manny Ramirez would stare long and hard in his home runs.
Yeah.
I think he would, put a little extra on those.
Is your computer updating again? Because you're turning into Max Headroom.
Oh, well, I have a bunch of tabs open because
we're gonna start John Jansen at GoFundMe so we can get him a new computer.
If you want to start a GoFundMe for a lot of things.
All right, we got a couple things
for a new hubcap.
As I said, yeah, we gotta get that. I could get that on my way in. All right, I'm gonna make that. Got some other things that are happening in the NBA, but first and foremost, I want to hit this scary stuff, and I believe it happened on Monday. It's definitely the story in the sports world right now. Bronny James, LeBron's oldest son, apparently had cardiac arrest at practice for the USC. I mean, I can't even say that without it's odd, man. It's just tough. I can only imagine what they're going through. Of course, we all went through it as a country with DeMar Hamlin. Could you imagine your kid? You're 18. What's 18?
18, yeah.
And you get a phone call. I don't know how to say this, but your kid is in cardiac arrest. We're taking him to the hospital. I'm a father. I'm nowhere near the caliber of who the Jameses are. But putting all that out to the side, because then it's just about being a father, and it's your son, it's your child, right? And we're all in the same wavelength when it comes to that. It's absurd, man. It seems like he's doing okay. They got him out of there. They got him home. That's some scary stuff, and it's not cool. It's not something we want to see. And apparently it happened last year to a USC player. And again, there is nothing to debate, right? I know one thing was said, like, hey, man, is the workload too much? And that wasn't even about a debate. It was just somebody that mentioned, like, damn, is he doing too much? I don't know. We don't know these sort of things. He is LeBron's kid.
Yeah, I don't want to speculate on somebody's health like that. I would not. I would know.
I had to start taking a pill 6-7 years ago because when my brother passed, I was having heart palpitations a few weeks later. I'm like, what the hell is that? I've never experienced it. And it shook me to my core because I've never had any issues like that. Stress is a real deal. Stress is absolutely real. So you just don't know. Again, it's not debating it, but it's just like, man, you hope that there's just not too much on the young man's plate because he is LeBron's kid. And for crying out loud, he's been talked about going to the NBA for 3 straight years now, right?
He's had a spotlight on him for almost.
He's not the only one. There's all these kids across the country, 4-star, 5-star. But it's just, you just hope that.
I get that. It's a lot different being LeBron James.
That's all I'm saying. And again, there's no debate there. And then, of course, you got the whole vaccination nonsense.
There's no debate there.
No, as I said, a kid had the same situation at USC. But it seems like he's in better spirits, better spot, home, not in the ICU. Fingers crossed that this can that moves in the right direction, but definitely scary. All right, and then staying in the world of basketball, and this is a huge deal because it has to do with the Boston Celtics. You like my T-shirt?
Where'd you get that T-shirt?
Shoot it free, you coward!
By the way, that shirt is about 3 years too late.
Why?
Because,
it's that old. This is about a Boston Celtic fan made this shirt, and I hated it then, but I love it now. I will buy all the Ben Simmons hater T-shirts out there.
Where did you come across that T-shirt where you decided to buy that now?
Instagram.
Again, years ago.
Instagram. It popped up on my Instagram feed.
So this is why you have a 5-day list, a list of things that you want to buy, but you have to wait 5 days to see if you actually need it. Because that shirt is just completely irrelevant right now.
Very well said. No, it's not irrelevant.
It is.
No, it's not.
The Ben Simmons thing, we're done with that.
No, we're not.
We're done with
that. I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not.
We're done.
He's the most despised Philadelphia athlete.
And he's in Brooklyn now. He's in Brooklyn now. He hasn't played basketball for like a decade. I think it's fine. I think we can move on from it.
Nope.
Yeah, okay, you're just not going to move on
I
from
will
it.
never move on.
Okay, you're never going to move on
from what he did to this franchise, what he did to me personally. I had his back in multiple arguments.
Yeah, I don't know. There's
after year after year, and what did he do?
There's just got to be Sean. Life moves on.
Nope.
Let's just look forward.
Nope.
I mean, there's not much to look forward to.
Correct.
But I think you can.
Did you see how many burgers James Harden had at the Rolling Loud concert?
Do I need to try one of these burgers? Why is that all of a sudden on my timeline all the time?
Those are Bun B.
I don't know. Where can you even get one?
Well, I'm just telling you straight up that the Ben Simmons hate will always be in my blood, no matter what. No matter what. And Mikal Bridges is out there saying,
you got to let it go. I think you got to let it go.
There's other things I got to let go first before I let go of my Ben Simmons venom. Not going to. Anyways, the Phillies and Orioles are going at it tonight. Game 2. Hopefully they get it in. It's nasty outside. -120 on DraftKings Sportsbook.
Is it nasty outside?
Oh,
when did that happen?
Lauren, Taiwan Walker, and Gibson on the mound. If they can't hit Kyle Gibson, like what are we talking about?
He got his NL championship ring.
Yeah, I saw that.
Did everyone get the ring now? Are we all good? Is everything squared away there? Any other irrelevant players to the Phillies World Series run get their championship ring? They haven't gotten it.
I want to bring this up. It's funny that you just said rings. Last week, a friend of mine told me, hey, the employees for the Philadelphia Eagles are getting their NFC championship rings. And I said, oh, that's cool. I said, obviously, did the players get
Are they going to do a ceremony the first game at Lincoln Financial Field?
No.
Okay.
So he said to me, no, the players got theirs last week. And I said, oh, I didn't even see. And I was off the grid because I've been down the way a few times. So I said, I don't even know if I've seen a picture of the ring. And I was just wondering because I would want to see it, right? And I think I put on Twitter just a question. Hey, I heard the Eagles are getting their rings. If they haven't already, did I miss it? And if so, does anybody have an image? And some dude, he's like, I don't think they're going to be something along the lines of they don't want to share that loser ring. I'm just like, dude.
Okay. First of all, they are going to share it.
Yeah, we knew that was number one.
Remember I think you easily found the picture. Somebody easily found the picture for you.
But as a player, I get it. There's a bigger fish to fry this upcoming season, unfinished business, whatever you want to insert there. But if I'm a player from last year's team and I represented in the Super Bowl, even though they came up short, I have to look back at that season as a pretty damn good run. I don't think there's an Eagles player in that locker room that would tell you different. Again, the caveat, plenty of work to be done. You got to get the one that matters. This is nice, but there's another prize at the end of this tunnel that we're going after. All of that is true, but you can't tell me that a football player that took the field last year isn't proud of what they put together. Last year as a fan might have been my favorite season, putting 2017 to the side.
Whoa.
Last year was awesome. Week in, week out, the Eagles kicked their opponent's ass. They handled business. The games that they were the favorites in, they covered. They held it down. The games that everybody was questioning, they rolled. Very few losses last year.
Kind of a boring season.
BS. As a fan,
I love too easy.
Every week of
I like a little bit of drama.
Playoffs, the Giants, come on. The 49ers coming in here.
That's why Andy Reid's Eagles are the best. There's always some type of drama. Always something they couldn't do. Well, it was too easy last year.
We're getting fired up here, and let's talk some football. We'll do that on the other side. Gentleman is making his daily ticket debut. He's got a fantastic podcast and Twitter handle, and he's doing it big at Legal Hands to Face. Once again, Legal Hands to the Face. Gentleman's name is Bill, and I'm going to try and pronounce his last name, Colarulo. There you go. I believe I said it right. Colarulo. Legal's Hands to the Face is the name of the podcast. He's had some great guests on, including my former co-host from back in the day. But, of course, all things Eagles, and we're hoping to do some things here with Bill moving forward. So he's going to join us. So do yourself a favor. Get on over to Legal Hands with the number 2 Face. Give them a follow over there. Give Bill a follow over there. And he's going to join us on the other side. A couple things that we're definitely going to hit. The number one storyline for, of course, training camp. That's sticking out to Bill. Obviously, expectations for the upcoming season. And I'll tell you what, after the bye week, take a look at some of those games Like for 7 straight weeks, the Eagles are playing a team that made the playoffs last year. Their schedule should be tougher. And remember, when we were talking about what was it it was a couple months ago, we were talking about the Eagles, and Hassan Reddick came walking in the studio, walking into the building, and I poked my head out, and I said, "Yeah, man, we're talking about you right now, blah 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 blah." And he was pumping what is it, R7, I think his drink, which was out at the Swinging and Ding It Open. And he's like, "Man," first thing he said, "How about that schedule?" So this is on their minds. That's a tough schedule. A lot of road games. You got Buffalo, you got Kansas City, 49ers. There's some news out there.
I feel like that stretch is tough.
Yes.
I don't think the schedule overall is incredibly tough.
Interesting. All right. Well, we'll hear from Bill on the other side. Legal hands to the face, daily debut. We got a lot to discuss, man. As I said, we got some great sounds from around the NFL. Mahomes on record here. We got some stories coming out of Cleveland with Deshaun Watson. Carolina Panthers had some good conversation happening down there. Jared Goff on the Lions hype train. Are they the number one team that has the most hype behind them for this upcoming season? Detroit Lions?
They are one of them, yeah.
Think on that.
Especially that we're not used to, yeah.
It's the Daily Ticket. Bill from Legal Hands to the Face is going to join us on the other side. Back after this.
Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler. Now, total traffic for Philadelphia.
And the Skiffle eastbound contact with Gladwell crashed in the left lane. Then further is stop and go Montgomery Drive past south. Westbound Jan University, Teacher Boulevard to Belmont. And Gladwell to Conshohocken. 95 northbound back to Betsy Rosta Bridge. All right, to tell a total driver.
This report is sponsored by Off.
Shoot a coward, you three.
Protection.
That's
Protection. The everyday skin protection ritual that protects your skin from mosquitoes. Prevention is the best protection. Off, the #1 dermatologist recommended repellent brand, SC Jansen.
People who suffer from long-term chronic joint pain spend so much of their time acting, putting up a carefree front. It's exhausting.
I was really tired of trying to act like I wasn't in pain because I was in pain all the time.
Rick Rawlings didn't want everyone else to know that he was coping with agonizing shoulder pain 24/7.
Yes, I had to put on a face.
24/7.
But then Rick found QC Kinetics, offering new lasting treatments for joint pain using natural biologics. Treatments designed to restore and repair joint tissue with no drugs, no surgery, no downtime. The results were amazing.
I am very glad. It changed my life doing the QC Kinetics. Today, my shoulders feel wonderful. The cranky Rick is gone. He's not grouchy anymore.
No more acting. Feel like yourself again when you call QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics. 215-999-3000. That's 215-999-3000. 215-999-3000.
I mean, it helps that he's a defensive lineman that can pass.
While supplies last.
New Jeeps, 25 to 35,000, right? Well, not today. Not at Gary Barber's #1 Chrysler Land. Talk about great Jeep value. How about a near new Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited, barely broken in for $15,990, $15,990, and I'm dead serious. At Barber's all-new Jeeps and Truck Center, over 50 near new Jeeps and trucks, like this Grand Cherokee Limited original window sticker, 30 to 35,000, and your price, $15,990, and you get the full balance of the new car warranty, new car financing. I'm not kidding. Your near new Grand Cherokee Limited from just $15,990, and don't you pay a penny more somewhere else. Don't you do that? Instant credit, well, you got it. The highest trading allowance, you got it. At just one place. Barber's all new Jeeps and Truck Center at Barbeck and the Boulevard. You're going to find over 50 near new, ready to roll Jeeps and trucks for about half the original price at just one place. Gary Barber's #1 Chrysler Land. So let me ask you, is Barbera the best? Boy, I guess.
Are you a business owner, CEO, or responsible for marketing? If you are, iHeartMedia can help you reach your goals and find new customers. We reach more consumers in your target area than anyone else. And we can give you access to those potential customers more cost effectively across radio, digital, podcasting, and social. We'd love to show you how iHeartMedia can work for you. From your cell, dial #250 and say keyword great results. That's #250 and say great results.
Do you have heart failure and often hear,
those stomach issues ruined your birthday?
You're too tired to play catch, Grandpa?
Sweetie, you haven't touched your tools since the carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis.
If these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your cardiologist. Ask about transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time. Learn more at connecttoyourheart.com. That's connecttoyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Hi, we're Comparing Insurance Agency. Right now, you're thinking, Comparing? Never heard of them. We know. We also know that Comparing Insurance agents are local and provide.
Hey, you got something right for once.
Ready? Go. Our local agents know you and your community. Our local agents offer insurance from top carriers. Our local agents have minty fresh breath.
Find us at comparinginsurance.com. Comparing Insurance Agency. Local agents, expert advice.
And there's number 4.
You all right? Need me to call 911? No. Call Top Dog Law. Get top dollar for your accident at topdoglaw.com. Once again, that's topdoglaw.com.
Yep.
Daily Ticket. Everybody is all fired up. Fox and Birds. NFL season is here. After Friday, every team will be in training camp. Exciting time of year, John Jansen. I mean, of course, it's got to be, right? It's the middle of summer. We don't have much going on besides football season and slam ball, which looked pretty cool over the weekend. Did you see that?
No.
Oh, man. They were crushing, dude.
That's great. Good for slam ball.
Slam ball definitely has my attention.
I'm not going to watch it. If that has slam ball has your attention.
Slam ball has my attention. I'm in. I wasn't a slam ball guy back in the day either, so I'm like new to the
I'd
game.
rather watch the backups of an XFL team play each other than slam ball.
All right, let's talk some football, and of course, let's talk about our Philadelphia Eagles. Joining us right now, making his Daily Ticket debut. He participated in the Swinging and Dinging Open. And he's got a great podcast, and he's doing amazing work on the socials, talking nothing but the Philadelphia Eagles. Bill Colarulo is his name, and you can find it all at Legal Hands to the Face. Bill, good afternoon. Thanks for a couple minutes, man. And it is an exciting time of year, right? We haven't really had Philadelphia Eagles back in our lives since Super Bowl Sunday, and now they all report. And I know things might be boring at this point in time, but it's cool to have the Eagles back in our lives.
Oh, you're not kidding, Sean. I mean, it's felt like such a long road since we saw that holding penalty in Super Bowl 57. I didn't think we were ever going to get here, man, but we are here. It may not be boring because I cannot wait. I've been waiting for months for this. Training camp has started. This is an exciting time for Eagles fans. This team, it's a stacked team. It's a stacked team for sure.
Yeah, and Bill did a video on the beach last weekend. Like, he's fired up. You can just hear it in his voice. Yeah, what beach, Bill? Where you at?
We got to know.
Ocean City, New Jersey.
Yeah, nice.
Very nice.
The best short team.
Mango pizza.
Oh, beautiful.
Was the electricity on this weekend or no?
Oh, cool.
Yeah, there was electricity, thankfully, this weekend.
Good. Everyone needs their AC. And I kid, that's probably a sensitive topic. But anyways, let's keep it moving. Bill, you've been covering this team every day, talking Eagles all throughout the course of the offseason. So simple question to get it started. As the team is reporting in training camp, what's the storyline that's standing out to you the most as far as this team as they roll into training camp here?
So they definitely have a great roster. I mean, you look up and down this roster, and they are pretty good. There's just a couple of question marks we can get into. But I really think the biggest question mark for this team is how big of a deal is the Super Bowl hangover going to be? I mean, it's crazy when you look at the numbers. There has not been an NFC team to lose the Super Bowl and go back in almost 50 years. You got to go back to the 1974 Minnesota Vikings. So how real is that Super Bowl hangover going to be? And what's even crazier, there hasn't been a repeat winner in the NFC East in 20 years. And then you throw on top of it the hardest strength of schedule in the NFL with 10 games against 2022 playoff teams. The NFL is not making it easy for the Philadelphia Eagles to repeat as NFC champs. That's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, all of those teams, past examples that have gone to the Super Bowl, lost and not been able to make it back. I guess what's what's something that does have you feeling confident that the Eagles can shake that trend?
So it's not all doom and gloom, because I think if there's any team that can do it, it's the veteran leadership that this squad has. You look at their veterans, Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, Jason Kelsey. It's crazy that all three of those guys, if they stay healthy, are going to finish the season as 1, 2, and 3 in the most games played in an Eagles uniform in franchise history. All three of those guys are going to break the record this year if they stay healthy. And then you throw Lane Johnson on top of that, and Jalen Hurts. He's not a veteran, but man, is he a leader. So I think they have the capability from a leadership perspective. And I think if you also look at the other NFC East teams, they also have tough schedules. The Giants and the Cowboys, they're both tied for the 4th hardest schedules in the league. Commanders are the 8th hardest schedule in the league, and I'm not confident in the Commanders' quarterbacks at all. And you go up and down the NFC. I'm a big Jalen Hurts fan. I've been high on him for a while. I don't think there's another quarterback in the NFC that's even close to Jalen Hurts. So you put all those factors together. If there's any team that can get past this Super Bowl hangover and repeat as NFC East champs for the first time in 20 years, it's this Eagles team for 2023.
Yeah, big expectation for Jalen, especially getting that contract this offseason, and he deserved every penny of it. And it's just, look, it's the expectations are through the roof right now for this team, and that's all that the national media is going to be continuing to say. And that was one thing that was standing out to me as far as this team heading into training camp was the mentality. And I know you hinted at it, but you got to trust in the leadership that they have inside that locker room. Sirianni's been here for a little while, of course, as you just mentioned with Kelsey and Fletcher Cox and so on and so forth. But let's talk a little about the coordinator and the fact that both coordinators have now moved on. So that's got to be a little concerning, right? Shane Steichen was calling plays last year, and he was pretty in tune in that offense. Brian Davis is taking over now, and I know he's got he has the relationship with Jalen Hurts as far as the quarterback coach last year is concerned. But your thoughts as far as losing Shane Steichen, what should we expect right now heading into training camp as far as the OC is concerned?
Yeah, I mentioned the Super Bowl hangover and the strength of schedule, but replacing both coordinators, this is the first time that a Super Bowl team has had to replace both coordinators since the 2004 Patriots, and before that it was the 94 49ers. It doesn't happen often that you got to replace both coordinators, and the Eagles have to do that this year. Shane Steichen was a great play caller. I mean, we saw it last year. He mixed it up. That offense was firing on all cylinders. Brian Johnson, it's a question mark. He's never called plays in the NFL before. The last time he called plays was at Florida in college. But you just have to hope that this isn't Shane Steichen's offense. This is a Jalen Hurts offense. So you have to hope that Brian Johnson's relationship and experience of being here last year, that they're going to be able to do things to make this offense successful. And at the end of the day, they have so many weapons on this offense that I think you may see some growing pains with Brian Johnson calling plays, especially at the end of halves and the timing and all that type of stuff. But this team is just so good on offense that I think they're going to be able to overcome the loss of Shane Steichen.
I believe I called him Brian Davis, but that's all right. I mean, that's just
well done.
Part of the course. Yeah,
I know
you're in preseason mode.
I am in preseason mode. You got to get into.
You know what? That's a mistake. Take a lap. Take a lap around the building.
Yeah.
Missed assignment.
You knew this, but Brian Johnson actually played for Jalen Hurts' dad, so they go way back.
I did not know that, actually. Did you know that, John Jansen?
I knew there was a link between
That's pretty cool.
Johnson and Hurts'
No,
dad.
I had no idea about that. That's very cool. Look, the expectations, as we said, it's just going to be the word that's thrown around a lot. Talk to me about the division, though. You kind of just got into it a little bit there. Who's going to be the toughest test for this Eagles team when they got to play them 2 times? And I look at the schedule, and that's the first thing. Like, of course, we all want to go to the Cowboys, right? Dak and what they've been able to do. I think we could probably start to put the Giants on that level. I'm not really buying what he's doing, but the schedule, though. Bill, like when they have to play the Cowboys, that's a really, really tough stretch. And oh, by the way, the Giants are in that stretch as well. Who do you think is going to give the toughest test to the Eagles this upcoming season in the division?
As an Eagles fan, it does kill me to say it, but I do think it's going to be the Dallas Cowboys. And if you look at the numbers, Dak Prescott, he's been a turnover machine, but say what you will about him as a quarterback, the guy has been successful inside the NFC East in his career. And I had to double check these numbers. He's 27-7 as a starter against NFC East teams. 8-3 against the Eagles, 9-2 against Washington, and 10-2 against the Giants. So he may have bad games against other teams. He doesn't have bad games against the NFC East, and that is the big concern. The only positive for the Cowboys is I have no confidence in their head coach, Mike McCarthy. Flipping over to the Giants, though, I think they have, outside of Sirianni, the best coach in the NFC East, Brian Dable. They finally got it right. I mean, they had McAdoo, which was a disaster. They had Joe Judge before that, but I think the Mara family has finally gotten it right, hiring Brian Dable. So those two teams concern me, but it's Dak Prescott. Last year, the injury bug got him, 15 interceptions. The year before that, 9 fumbles. You have to hope he's a turnover machine, but something's got to break because 8-3 against the Eagles, that's a problem. The Eagles have to figure out a way to beat Dak Prescott and the Cowboys.
Yeah, and the Eagles defensively, obviously, are going to be sort of the highlight there. And I think it's more stopping the run. That was one of their biggest problems last season. They had to get 2 defensive tackles on the market in Joseph and Sue. What's your confidence level with the Eagles, especially their interior defensive line with Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis to be better run stoppers this season?
I'm really excited about the interior of that defensive line. I know they lose Javon Hargrave to the 49ers, who paid him a crazy amount of money. No way the Eagles were going to match that. But I think not only with the addition of Jalen Carter, everybody's obviously excited about him as a draft pick, but I think another year for Jordan Davis and a healthy year, hopefully, for Jordan Davis. You have a ankle injury, a foot injury, when you're that big of a guy, it's going to take a lot to get back to 100%. I think he was battling that all of last season. Another year of growth for him. And a guy I'm really high on that interior is Milton Williams. This is going to be his 3rd season. We've seen him improve every single year in the league. I saw some pictures of him.
Yeah.
This guy looks absolutely jacked. I'm excited for Milton Williams this year. And you bring back Fletcher Cox. I know a lot of fans didn't like that the Eagles paid him what they paid him. The guy can still play. They got him on a fairly decent deal. So I think the interior of that defensive line is going to be solid. The big question mark on defense is the linebacker position. They let both of their starters walk, TJ Edwards and Kazir White. I was okay with them letting Kazir White walk. I thought he had an up and down year last year, but I was kind of high on TJ Edwards. He led the team in tackles. He was 7th in the NFL in tackles. He wore the green dot last year, calling the defensive plays. And the Eagles do go out and they bring in this Nicholas Morrow, who played for the Bears last year. But obviously, the Chicago Bears thought that TJ Edwards was an upgrade because they paid him more money than what the Eagles played Morrow. So we kind of flip-flop linebackers, and the Bears think they got the better one. And it all comes down to, is Nakobe Dean the stud that he was at Georgia? Everybody's hopeful he's going to step in there and be that guy. But we've only seen him play 34 defensive snaps in the NFL, and they're putting a lot on that guy's shoulders. He's going to wear the green dot as of now. He's got to replace a lot of tackles with TJ Edwards. I think he can do it, especially behind that defensive interior we just talked about. But you need Nakobe Dean to be a breakout player on that defense this year, or we're in trouble because there's a lot of question marks at linebacker.
Look,
outside of Dean.
Yeah, go. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I apologize. Go ahead.
I was going to say, outside of Dean, they brought in Nicholas Morrow, but then who else do you have? Just a bunch of special teamers behind him. Christian Ellis, a lot of guys said he looked like he was flying around at OTAs, but he's only been a special teamer in this league. Sean Bradley, local kid from Mount Holly, New Jersey, also just a special teamer. Davion Taylor hasn't been able to really crack this lineup. Linebacker's a big question mark, no doubt about it.
Bill Colarulo on the Gambler Hotline right now. Legal Hands to the Face is where you can find him. Great podcast. As you can hear, he knows the hell he's talking about. Jansen, here's the picture he brought up. Well, one of the pictures. Look at this dude, Milton Williams. Somebody, Kendall back tweeted, I don't know who that is, but
stud.
My goodness, if the football thing doesn't work out for him, he can easily be a security guard for Drake or Secret Service, one or the other. I mean, that dude is a
Wembanyama might need some more security.
Yeah,
he can do that. He can apply.
Bill, we'll get you out of here on this one. As I said, man, fantastic stuff. Definitely we'll be checking out your podcast more. And as I said, we want to get you involved as much as possible here on the station throughout the course of this upcoming Eagles season. But as always, we talk about the gambling side. And last year, this Eagles team, I believe, went 12-4, right, Jansen? 12-4, Bill, right? 12-4. They won 12 games, and they could have won more. The bottom line, they ended up 12-4. Now, the question I would have, no, that can't be right because they played 17. What are you doing over there? Put down your computer and be a part of the show.
Sorry, I just found out that Justin Fields is rated higher than Trevor Lawrence in the NFL top
say now you're
100,
tweeting.
and that's absolutely wild.
Bill, did
That's
they
the
go
wildest
12-5?
thing.
Was that
That's
the number
wild.
last year? What were the Eagles last year?
Now you're making me question what the Eagles did last
They're
year.
14-3.
I mean,
14-3. They got okay. All right. So 14-3. Sorry, I was a little off on my math. The DraftKings right now is showing 11.5. We just discussed the schedule here. Where do you see them ending up right now? If I made you make a wager, you're going to take the over on 11.5, or you're going to take the under?
I'm going to take the over, but that's not by a lot. I think the Eagles go 12-5 this year. I think if you look at that stretch, right after the bye, Kansas City, Buffalo, Dallas, Seattle, San Francisco. I mean, that is a gauntlet stretch that they have to go through. I think they're going to be a good team this year, but just the way the schedule lines up and the amount of playoff teams from last year that they have to play, I would be surprised if they're going to be able to win more than 12 games this year. But I think that's the number. I think 12-5, go with the over. Obviously, Vegas knows what they're doing, making the over 11.5.
Yeah, see, I'm right there with you on that one. I think the schedule is going to be a little bit more difficult. Look, if everybody remains healthy, and of course Jalen Hurts is at the top of that list, this team could go on another run and win 14 games as they did last year. But I think it's just going to be really hard for them with the changes that they made on the side of the ball, as we pointed out, the coordinators. And everything did go right for that team last year. So I just expect them to have a couple more losses. Again, I still like to win the division. I still like to get back to the Super Bowl. I like both. I've already been on record for about 6 months now, Bill, since that game ended. I think they run it back. I think it's the Chiefs and Eagles round 2. Hopefully the Eagles come out on top, but that's going to be my Super Bowl pick in about a month from now. So barring any quick injury over the next couple of weeks here at training camp.
The problem is we talked about the Super Bowl hangover is, are they going to be ready for week 1 and that 8-week stretch that are all winnable games? Because they really got to come out hot. They had 8 winnable games to start the season, and then that's when the schedule gets really tough after that. So they can't afford to have a hangover this year. They got to come out. They got to win a lot of games early because the schedule gets really tough. Week 9 against the Cowboys, and then obviously the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, I got all excited because the Eagles have them after the bye.
Yep.
But Kansas City also has a bye, and you know how good Andy Reid is coming off of a bye. So, again, NFL doesn't do the Eagles any favors, giving them a bye week and then playing the Chiefs, who are also coming off of a bye.
Bill Corulo from Legal Hands to the Face. You're hearing this voice a lot more on The Gambler. Can't thank you enough, sir. I apologize about my co-host here, just losing his brain about Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields.
That's insane.
Well,
Trevor Lawrence is the most underrated player in the NFL.
Bill,
It's just he's the most underrated player.
What's your take on this, Bill? I'm going to read your tweet that you just put out 2 minutes ago during the interview. He said, just saw that Fields is higher than Lawrence on the NFL top 100 list. Do you really care about the NFL top 100 list?
No,
Really?
that's insane. That's insane.
And that's what you tweeted. That's insane. Bill, do you agree? Should Trevor Lawrence or should Justin Fields be higher than Trevor Lawrence if you were making a list here?
I got to agree with Jansen on this one. I think that Justin Fields gets rated higher than he should be because everyone's hopeful he's going to make the same leap that Jalen Hurts made. And I think Trevor Lawrence doesn't get the credit he deserves because of his rookie season, which wasn't his fault. I mean, Urban Meyer destroyed that guy's rookie season, and you see what he's been able to do with Doug Peterson as his head coach. So I'm going to agree with Jansen. I think Lawrence has to be ranked above Justin Fields.
All right, we'll have to get a look at that top 100. Normally, I don't really.
It's that is going to seem wild when Trevor Lawrence is in the top 10 of that list next season.
Yeah, I think we're going to all agree on that one. Again, if you didn't know this, John Jansen discovered.
I
Trevor
did
Lawrence.
discover,
He
but
was-
I don't think he gets respected for
underneath
being
the rock.
this amazing generational talent.
Nobody heard of this quarterback ever, and all of a sudden Jansen's like his number one fan. Anyways, we'll talk about that one down the road. Bill, great stuff. Definitely we'll catch up later. Of course, plenty of Eagles topics to discuss over the next month, and then we got a great football season ahead of us, man. Can't thank you enough. We'll catch up down the road, sir.
Looking forward to talking again, boys. Have a good one.
There he is. Once again on the Gambler Hotline, Bill Corulo, Legal Hands to the Face, the podcast. He's got Barry Brooks on there, my guy John Marks, and a couple other people on there as well, doing a lot of great work on his podcast, videos as well. Socials are just absolutely on fire, so do yourself a favor. Legal Hands to the Face, give him a follow. Is there anybody else in the top 100 list that we can talk about?
No, that's the only one I
That's
saw.
the thing. They just released the top 10 or 100 to 90. Is that what they did? I can't believe you checked out and you left me hanging on that. I didn't remember what they won last year.
Oh, you should know that.
And
You should need money.
12 and 4, that's 16. They play 17 games. Dumb. Anyway, I was calling myself dumb, not you. Anyways, I look at this schedule. Do I see 12 wins? Of course. You're still tweeting.
Yep.
You're still tweeting. What are you tweeting now? Is this show not interesting enough that you got to go ahead to Twitter and get your take out there? Can't you tell Twitter?
I'm multitasking.
No, you're not. You're one-dimensional right now. You're not even paying attention to me. You're not looking at me. You're looking past me. I swear.
I mean, it's just wild.
I'm going to unplug that computer. That computer ain't going to work.
What do you need to know? I was listening.
No, it's all good. Nothing important.
I'm sorry, was my typing distracting to you?
Are you following Bill?
I can multitask.
Are you following
Yeah,
Bill?
I'm following his account, his podcast account.
The Twitter. On Twitter. You follow
Yeah, like the podcast Twitter account. Yeah.
Thank you.
Legal Hands to Face.
All right.
I'm following.
We do have some NBA to get to. The Celtics came out with a whopper of a contract, and now it's the richest deal in NBA history for the one Jaylen Brown, 5-year, $304 million Supermax extension. Here's my question: how many seasons is he playing with the Celtics with that contract? Because I think it's one. I think next year he'll play, and then he'll want to be traded the following season.
You think it's going to be one? I don't know.
And that's what players should do. These players should get the money where they
get the
can,
Supermax and then figure it out from there.
If you want to be out, get out.
I don't know. I think that the perception of that situation and Boston will completely change. Like that once they start winning more and they get to the NBA Finals again, which is completely reasonable to think because they're 25 years old.
This team can't go backwards. This team can't lose. Porzingis is an automatic qualifier that they're going to run it back to the NBA. They didn't make the NBA Finals. Excuse me. They're going to get to the NBA Finals.
They can. Why not?
I don't see it like that.
Boston can't do it.
Of course they can, but the way you just talked, it's a slam dunk. Throw them in there.
Well, it's not slam dunk, but you would imagine over the course of time and the more seasons that they have together and the more they play in the NBA, the same thing with Jokic, the same thing with Giannis, that the more you play in the NBA, the more experience you get and the better you get. So I just think with Boston, it could all change immediately next season when they probably get the best years out of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Like there was a scenario where it gets better.
All right. That's our NBA minute. And no, I don't give a damn what James Harden said at some interview with, I believe, USA Today. I don't care. It seemed like he was honest with the situation, and he was kind of comparing himself to the Damian Lillard spot that's happening right now in Portland. But I just don't care. I got nothing in it. Nothing in me for the 76ers other than the shirt I'm wearing. Shoot a three, you coward. Love this shirt. It's my favorite shirt right now.
That shirt was a great 2020 shirt.
But I would not have worn that because it was the Boston Celtics that created this shirt. Sean Bernard checking in, of course, covers the 76ers for us here. He was watching earlier. Ben Simmons' hate lives on forever. You're damn right it does. And he also followed up by saying if he learns to shoot, the championship window is much bigger than the crack that's open right now. Sean, he's not, right? Like we're not still on, right? If he learns to shoot, there's nobody out there that believes Ben Simmons will learn to shoot. I don't care what Bridges.
I don't
care what Mikal Bridges is trying to sell me or not. It's his teammate. Good. He should have his back. Ben Simmons, nope. Sorry. He's going to be playing in Australia or China in the next 2 seasons. Mark it down. All right. On the other side, though, we got our college football topic coming your way. 2 of them, in fact, because we had some breaking news around 2:00 today that involved Jim Harbaugh and the Michigan Wolverines. Oh, by the way, that's a team, if I'm not mistaken, won the Big Ten back-to-back years, right? Didn't they back-to-back seasons? Yeah. So this is a big damn year for that squad. I think it helps out my Marvin Harrison Jr. Heisman Trophy.
No, I don't. Really? I love how you connected that.
Yeah.
I love it.
I will tell you on the other side how this Jim Harbaugh news makes my bet with Marvin Harrison Jr. to win the Heisman Trophy.
That's the most sports radio hosting I've ever heard you do in your entire life.
All right, we got that. And also it's ACC Media Day. ACC Media Day. So we'll talk about the ACC.
You don't mean AAC Media Day.
No.
You mean ACC.
I'm talking about a conference that people actually care about. The ACC. Oh, by the way, I didn't know East Carolina was opening up with the Wolverines.
Yeah.
What's the spread in that
36
one?
and a half.
The Daily Ticket. We're back after this.
He just couldn't handle on his own.
I owed the IRS taxes for over 5 years, but I didn't have any money.
Also, you got to know the record.
Those years cost him dearly.
It was fees and interest. It was horrible.
Ron finally called in the pros.
I called Optima Tax Relief, and boy, am I happy I did.
The leading tax resolution firm, Optima, is rated by the Better Business Bureau. They've resolved over $1 billion for their clients. Ron was overjoyed.
My account was out. I was ecstatic. They are a lifesaver. They are. I am so happy.
Take Ron's advice and call Optima now for a free consultation.
Yeah, don't do like I did and wait. Call Optima Tax Relief. Do it now. You'll be ecstatic like me.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
WCAS getting some award nominations.
Longer. Only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I can't wait for what's next. Even with higher stroke risk due to atrial fibrillation, irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Eliquis, Pixaban tablets, reduces stroke risk. It's the #1 cardiologist prescribed blood thinner. Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without talking to your doctor, as this may increase your risk of stroke. Eliquis can cause serious and, in rare cases, fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or have antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or unusual bleeding, or if you have tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. It may increase your bleeding risk if you take medicines such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
DQ presents Picture This. Picture your favorite Blizzard treat, but this one is being held by someone very special. Ari, our Children's Miracle Network Hospital's champion. Hi! Miracle Treat Day is Thursday, July 27th. $1 or more of each Blizzard treat sold at participating locations benefits your local children's hospital and kids like Ari. So treat yourself in the most meaningful way.
Support kids like me on Miracle Treat Day, Thursday, July 27th.
DQ. Happy tastes good.
MVP's bonus days are back at Lowe's. Right now, save $60 when you buy a DeWalt Impact Driver or Drill for just $99 each. Lowe's knows pros. Valid through 8/2.
This is Super Bowl champion Alfred Williams. Here's what's trending on the iHeart Sports Network.
Presented by Mercedes-Benz.
The Eagles getting set to go back to work after reporting for training camp today. Philadelphia trying to avoid a hangover from last year's NFC Championship. Baseball, after dropping the series opener, the Phillies continue their set against the Orioles later tonight. Taijuan Walker starts on the mound for the Phils. And Michigan football coach Jim Harbaugh is reportedly facing a 4-game suspension. That's for his role in NCAA recruiting violation. I'm Scott Davidson.
Owning a Mercedes-Benz EV isn't just extraordinary, it's extra easy. With full remote access to your vehicle from your phone via the Mercedes Me Connect app, the vehicles are all electric. The feeling is all Mercedes. The choice is all yours. Learn more. MBUSA.com/EQ.
It's crawling on the Schuylkill eastbound 202 to Glasgow with a crash in the right lane. Westbound Jan University to Girard Boulevard to Belmont. It's so glad with the Conshohocken. Divine Expressway heavy both ways. Schuylkill to 95. Boulevard northbound Jan Wissahickon to Broad. Artubella total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. MVP's bonus days are back at Lowe's. Right now, save $60 when you buy a DeWalt Impact Driver or Drill for just $99 each. Lowe's knows pros. Valid through 8/2.
Hey, let's get out of here.
With Audible, we could root for a lone astronaut as he tries to save Earth from disaster. Maybe go for a run with the founder of the world's biggest sneaker brand. We could get the tea on the real-life media mogul succession drama, or find out what life is really like for an Oscar-winning actress. I mean, with Audible, we could go anywhere. There's more to imagine when we listen. Hear the latest audiobooks, podcasts, and originals at audible.com.
DQ presents Picture This. Picture your favorite Blizzard treat, but this one is being held by someone very special. Ari, our Children's Miracle Network.
Major Painter Tommy John surgery today.
$1 or more of each Blizzard treat sold at participating locations.
See him in 2025.
And kids like Ari, so treat yourself in the most meaningful way.
Support kids like me on Miracle Treat Day, Thursday, July 27th.
DQ, happy tastes good.
Are you working way too hard for way too little? There's never been a better time to consider a career in IT. You could enjoy a recession-resistant career in a rewarding field with plenty of growth opportunities and often flexible work environments. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. You can start your new career in months, not years. Take classes online or on campus, and financial aid is available to qualified students, including the GI Bill. Now is the time. mycomputercareer.edu.
MVP's bonus days are back at Lowe's. Find special savings on top brands like DeWalt. Right now, save $60 when you buy a DeWalt impact driver or drill for just $99 each. Plus, MVP's Pro Rewards members will earn 3 times the bonus points when shopping the Pro Zone. Shop in-store and online today. Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. DeWalt offer about 7/17 through 8/2. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts, if any. Valid through 7/28. Subject to change.
Duffy's Hope 19th Annual Celebrity Basketball Game is back on Saturday, August 5th, starting at 6 p.m. in Wilmington, Delaware at the Chase Fieldhouse. The star-studded event will include appearances by Power Book 2 star Lorenz Tate, BMF star Lil Meech, rapper Cash Doll, Black China, comedian DaVinci, and many more. Duffy's Hope Inc. is dedicated to creating after-school programs and extracurricular events to promote nonviolence and positive recreational activities for at-risk youth in Delaware. For more info, go to duffyshopeinc.org.
Only iHeartRadio gives you access to all of your favorite radio stations.
The Rod Ryan Show.
It's the
Woody Show.
It's Elliot in the morning. All of the once-in-a-lifetime events. All of the best free curated playlists. The best bands. All of the great podcasts for every interest. The stuff they don't want you to know. All of the mind-blowing contests.
$20,000.
Awesome. All of your favorite superstars.
This is Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters.
Best of all, it doesn't cost a thing. Download the absolutely free iHeartRadio app now.
Your home for Villanova basketball is WDAS and WD273B, Fox Sports Radio Philadelphia. Now's your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Green. That's green.
Enter now.
You heard the man. Get over to foxphlgambler.com and enter the keyword, your chance to win $1,000. Once again, foxphlgambler.com.
Living in this big blue world. Phillies.
Are you going to play this every show?
Orioles. Game 2 tonight. Don't have a good vibe about tonight, as I did yesterday.
So you're not going to be A-okay?
No.
You have played this almost every show. I think you play this every show. We have a library there with thousands of songs, and you keep playing this one.
Yeah, it's front and center.
Why?
I don't know. It's lit up. I just grabbed it, threw it in there, and I figured, we'd come back.
So you're just mailing it in. You're just mailing in the show.
No, that's you.
You're just mailing it.
That's you.
I'm not. I'm giving you content.
No, I don't need content. I got a full list of nonsense.
Also, you should know the record of the Eagles. Come on. Everybody knows it was 14-3.
Nah.
Can you name the 3 losses?
Jeez.
That should be easy, too.
They didn't really count at the end, right? Wasn't there one at the end? Oh, Cowboys. Yeah. But that wasn't at the end. That was the prime time.
That was not at the end.
That was a prime time game. I remember the Cowboys. No, I can't remember the losses last year.
Washington?
I was at that game.
Oh, so that's why you can't remember
Okay, I
it.
was at
That,
that game.
okay.
That game sucked.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that game was terrible. Give
And
me
also,
hang on.
okay,
Wow.
3 losses. We got Washington. We got Dallas. One more.
Living in a big new world. I don't know. Can't
It's
remember.
not that hard.
Oh.
New Orleans.
Oh, yeah.
Gardner Minshew started 2 games in a row. Dallas and New Orleans, and they lost both.
Yeah, I didn't. No, wasn't coming to me. Wasn't coming to me at all. You know, as much fun as that season was, kind of put it in my rear view. It's kind of in the back. You know, that was a tough Super Bowl loss. And as much fun as I said I had, I would imagine all Eagles fans did. It was a tough way to lose. You know, season just fell apart right there in the third quarter of the Super Bowl. And it was just a tough run. I mean, yeah, you get to the playoffs, and that's all. That's all that matters. Of course, we know what happened there. They handled business at home against the Giants and the 49ers and went to the Super Bowl. And next thing you know, what a great ride it was. It came to a screeching halt. But
I can't wait to move on from it. I don't know why, but I just.
Well, that comes with the game 1 against the New England Patriots. Which, oh, by the way, I think they're a 5.5-point favorite. Love them. You should absolutely love them. The Patriots could.
The Eagles, yes. Now, I think there are going to be big changes with the Patriots this season because you now have a legitimate, established offensive coordinator. But they still do have to make up for a lack of talent at a lot of skill position and also premium positions.
Yeah.
They just haven't drafted them. They don't have great wide receivers. They have a decent stable of running backs. Their offensive line's just okay. Defensively, they're good, and that's mostly because the Belichicks are defensive-minded and they're good defensive minds. But even though Bill O'Brien comes in, I don't think that it's going to change so drastically that the Patriots are this team to look out for.
Correct. Yeah. It's just when it comes to skill positions, Mac, it's like, you're really concerned?
Mac Jones is fine, but Mac Jones.
Here's what's going to happen in that game 1. Will it be a repeat of last year's game 1 against the Detroit Lions where they, was it 38-35? How about that for me? I think it was the final score 38-35. Something along those lines.
It's a little bit different, though.
No, it's not.
Because they were coming into the season not established.
No, my point is, as far as you get that you throw up a 38-point spot, and then next thing you don't cover because the second half and the fourth quarter, you just let them, terrorize you up and down the field, and they score in bunches. So that's where my mind goes. If they don't do that, I'm talking about the Eagles, if they don't allow the Patriots to get back into the game like they did last year for the Lions, I think it's an easy cover and win for the Birds. Easy. I do think they get 30-plus points in that game 1 as well. I mean, again, we'll talk about that as we get closer with conditions.
But yeah, let's just say a wide receiver group of Juju Smith-Schuster.
Correct.
And Devontae Parker and Kendrick Bourne, that's not concerning to me.
That's where I stand.
That's not great.
All right,
I think Devontae Parker had the lowest separation percentage of any wide receiver, qualified wide receiver.
It's not something you want to be.
So the guy has trouble, Sean, to put that simply, the guy has trouble getting open.
Well,
that's not good.
No, definitely not. All right. Let's keep it moving, though. NFL and the big news out of San Francisco, man, they got a lot of things happening today. I didn't think that we'd be talking about sports like this today. A lot of crazy sports topics are popping up today. Anyways, first and foremost, Brock Purdy is looking like he's going to be good to go for training camp, which wasn't everybody freaking out and losing their minds going, oh, Brock Purdy's not going to be in there and Sam Darnold's going to be the guy. And now it's looking like Brock Purdy will be fine. Is he your number one? Is he your day one starter? Did he earn that position for you last year?
Yes, he did.
If you're Shanahan?
Yes.
Even with that injury?
Right. I think he will. Well, obviously, he just got cleared, so it depends on what his shape is. But I imagine if he is not only just cleared, but ready to play that position week 1. He will be playing that position. I think San Francisco has to keep that a short leash, though. Because there is a good chance that Brock Purdy struggles to start the year and does not come anywhere close to what he was last year.
Well, was he dominant? They won a bunch of games, but I don't remember Brock Purdy. Hey, he won 7 out of the 8 games that he played in. Yeah. My voice just semi-cracked there. But yeah, I don't think Brock Purdy is going to.
But you get afraid, or at least I would be afraid if I was a San Francisco fan, that San Francisco gets too attached to that idea of what Purdy was last year, instead of looking ahead to what he actually is.
All right. And then staying with the 49ers, and this was somewhat news to me, I would imagine. It's not shocking, and we'll get into another player that's at the same position, in fact, I believe, right? Jones is the same position as Bosa. I want to say correct. Nick Bosa apparently is going to hold out, and he wants a new contract. Now, when the fines kick in, because that's when, like, deadlines get deals done, right? So with that, the deadline or where it's free for him to miss these practices, and I don't know if that's the case from day one or not, but that's when you start losing money. That's when obviously you got to report to camp. So I assume Bosa will be there, but he's not messing around. He wants to get paid, and he deserves it because of the seasons that he's had. And we talked about as far as the top 5 defensive ends in the game, and he's number 1 for everybody, it seems, right? So you got to pay Nick Bosa.
Yeah, the premium position, one of the most coveted positions in the NFL now. Yeah, you would have to pay. I would just wonder because, we're seeing Chris Jones, even though defensive tackle, but still pass rusher type player.
Gotcha.
That how much higher this number can go. Yeah, because I think we are seeing, it's the scales aren't balanced anymore. Teams are paying more and more and more money to quarterbacks. Teams are paying more and more and more money to wide receivers. And also, once defensively, you're going to counter that with defensive backs and pass rushers. How much higher that number can go and how much they can continue to set, record-breaking deals for defensive ends. And I imagine Bosa is going to be one that gets one of those biggest deals a defensive end has ever got type of deal. But that number is just going to continue to skyrocket.
Yeah, it's getting a little crazy now, man. When you look at Saquon Barkley and what he got and what these running backs are being discussed, and yet Jones wants $30 million per year. Saquon's playing for $11 million. He's one of the best running backs in the game. Something's got to change. Something has to change. That just doesn't seem right to me.
I don't know what does change. And the thing that bothers me the most is that running backs on the offensive side are getting double the workload that anybody else does in terms of skill position players.
It's not like they don't deliver.
Right. Oh, Saquon Barkley delivered.
Correct.
Christian McCaffrey has delivered.
Yes.
Where would San Francisco have been if it wasn't for Christian McCaffrey? I think one of the reasons why they got better in the second half of the season wasn't because Brock Purdy was some great quarterback, because they had Christian McCaffrey, who's the greatest Swiss Army knife versatile player, skill position player in the NFL. And he's not going to get valued. And Saquon Barkley is the same thing. Swiss Army knife, do anything you need him to. He's a great running back in the backfield, great pass catcher, good pass blocker too. By the way, they also get charged with protecting the quarterback. And he did all of that at a high level. And they go, well, you're not worth it. I mean, I get the idea that running backs don't have these long careers, but that doesn't mean they shouldn't get paid for what they do. Either they have to get paid higher money up front out of their rookie deals, which I don't know if that's going to happen, or they need to start getting paid their value. But they're not going to, because I think also the NFL is kind of artificially, because it's easy for analytics to go, running backs aren't valuable. And here's why Daniel Jones is
and people like you parrot it. Like, oh, yeah.
I don't
Running
agree.
backs, you don't need them.
No, I don't.
Three
I don't
running
believe
backs
that.
that are just,
I don't
picked up
believe
the
that at all.
tree, could replace the number one.
I am more along the lines of I think Daniel Jones looked somewhat competent because Saquon Barkley was that good.
Yes, I'm right there with you.
But it's not thought of that way because Daniel Jones gets the CPOE over expected. He gets the EPA per play.
What are these initials? CPOE? What is that?
Completion percentage over expected.
Oh, jeez.
And
what was the other one?
Estimated. I forget what EPA.
You gotta give me a chart up here.
But those numbers and I think those numbers can gauge
these letters out there. So at least I could go, hang on, I know what that one means.
But the biggest problem with the NFL is your job is so contingent on the person next to you.
Yeah.
It's not like baseball. You are one-on-one with a pitcher. The batter is one-on-one.
Yeah.
So I can judge Ohtani based off of that, or I can judge Mike Trout based off of OPS plus, runs created plus, because there's no other factor determining something differently.
Except for winning a championship. Because it is a team game.
But what can Ohtani do more?
And when you got to come up in the eighth inning, and it's the bottom of the eighth, and there's a run around third base, and it's your turn in the lineup, and you get a base hit, and you knock that in.
Shohei Ohtani's the best example of
a
this.
clutch player that you have been year in year out in the Yankees.
But in order to get to that spot, you have to have a good team, right?
Derek Jeter's overrated.
In order to get to that spot, you have to have a pretty good team. Shohei Ohtani is literally doing more than any baseball player ever has in the history of the sport, right?
Nobody's arguing.
And guess where Los Angeles is going to be by the end of the season? Probably near last in that division and missing the playoffs. So that is not a team sport, or that is not an individual sport. That is your team needs to be good.
Well, I think there's a happy medium we must.
I don't think there's a happy medium in baseball.
Yes,
there is not.
There's got to be.
In the NBA, you can. I feel like it is fair to go that extreme, that championship rings matter and going the distance in the playoffs matter, because we know individuals can impact the game that much. And I know in the NFL, we can think of that with quarterbacks too, but it isn't that easy because quarterbacks have to rely on their offensive line. Their wide receivers need to get open. Their running backs need to be able to run the ball well so they can, how many quarterbacks can we say that their completion percentage and whatever the other numbers may be is better based off of play action? Because the threat of running helps quarterbacks. The threat of running the ball helped the Eagles. That's not to say Jalen Hurts is bad or should not get any credit. He should get all the credit in the world. But you still need that. Joe Burrow needs T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. Patrick Mahomes needs Travis Kelce and the greatest offensive coach of all time in Andy Reid. They need that stuff. And Daniel Jones needed Saquon Barkley.
Did you say Andy Reid was the greatest offensive coach in the NFL?
Andy Reid is the greatest offensive coach we've ever seen in the NFL. He's the greatest offensive mind we've ever seen. I don't think that's not even an argument anymore. We can just brush past that. That's just a state of fact. That's not a debate. But for the Giants, they need Saquon Barkley because when he runs well, things open up for Daniel Jones. The threat of running the ball helps Daniel Jones in play action. And if that's not there, then you have to rely more on Daniel Jones. And the more you rely on Daniel Jones, the more he's probably going to make a mistake. And the more mistakes he makes, the more it's going to pile up and your team stinks. So, there is value to running backs, especially those that have adapted that aren't just running the ball, that are also catching the ball out of the backfield, can be wide receivers like Christian McCaffrey and Saquon Barkley can. Those guys help the quarterbacks more than people want to admit. Well, Daniel Jones is very heavily reliant on Saquon Barkley's success. Well, and there is no running back, by the way, you can just plug in and say, yeah, he can do the same things that Saquon Barkley does. That's what I can't stand. Oh, you can just get another running back in the 7th round, and he'll be Saquon Barkley. You know why Isaiah Pacheco can work? Because his quarterback's Patrick Bleeping Mahomes. Yeah. If you had Isaiah Pacheco on the Giants, it's not the same. Isaiah Pacheco can't do the same things that Saquon Barkley can. There are not many running backs. I would say there's a handful that can maybe do the things Saquon does and Christian McCaffrey does. There's not many. And so, yeah, those guys should get paid for being elite and for taking the workload, so much of the workload of their offense.
They have to make a change as far as CBA
They
is
do.
concerned, or just the league. Again, to me, I don't know what the hell took place when they added that 17th game, that final game on, and then what did the players get in return? I mean, off the top of my head, they eliminated some practices, right, with pads, made life a little easier. That's a win. That's a total win for the owners. And this just doesn't seem right at all. That some of these running backs out there that have been doing it, and unfortunately, the details that they have, for the history of the running backs, once they hit that year, I think it was 20. There was a graph that I was looking at. The drop off, it's realistic, and that's why they're not paying. And you can't fault the owners.
It is
a salary cap, or you can't fault general managers because it's the salary cap league.
But I think you can fault them because they are dictating the market. But are they dictating that market based on good terms? Like, are they doing it fairly and without any of this, trying to devalue the position?
Probably not.
Because we've heard from Gerald, right? Gerald Colton, former agent that does stuff with us. He has told us that teams used PFF grades. Remember that? They would use PFF grades to devalue a player because, you're not this high in the they will do anything to make sure they don't have to pay you what they, the top dollar, what they should pay you. So what analytics does, what it's doing now is it's going so extreme heavy in running backs aren't valuable. And so guess what teams can easily say? Well, analytics say running backs aren't valuable. So guess what? We don't have to pay you. So I think it is not on good faith that they are making these claims that running backs aren't valuable. And I think that is something based off of the knowledge we have of these negotiations and based off of the NFL being a large corporation that has never done things on good faith. I think I can make that assumption that this is also not being done in good faith. They will do anything they can to devalue a player in a position.
I'm not going to tell you different. You're right. I just think that they're up against it, and I'm talking about the running backs. Unless they hold out altogether.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah,
I don't know when the next CPA is up.
I think it's not from the other like 7 years.
They just signed it. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
like I said, I brought up that extra game. I don't know. It's just odd to me that you get these players that are going to want $30 million per year. Yet Saquon Barkley, who was one of the best, just held out for an extra $2 million signing bonus, essentially. And it's not over. Who knows what will happen? But he's a big deal, and the Giants getting him back into the locker room, not have to deal with that for the rest of this season, or at least for the rest of training camp, is a huge deal for them as well. We'll see. You were seeing people talk about if you're a high school player, would you play a different position? Something has to change because it's not fair. It's just not. Those guys take a beating at that position.
And teams have no problem putting them through that and then saying after those 4 years of the rookie contract, yeah, but you're going to get hurt at some point. Your careers are short after they just gave him 300 touches on a season.
Well, with that being said, 117 and 45, Andy Reid. We do have some
the greatest offensive line
stuff to get in with the Kansas City Chiefs. Tony, looking like that he may or may not be ready for opening day, and a lot of people were trying to say that he was going to be the go-to guy. Not one of them, and nor do I think that. Again,
I'm sure he's a big part of it, but I don't think he's going to be their top wide receiver.
As long as Travis Kelce is playing, I think they'll be all right. How high you draft Travis Kelce in this upcoming fantasy draft? We'll talk about that. Don't give me your answer now. We'll give you the latest as far as Tony is concerned. We got to get over to college football to talk about the ACC. It's media day. I want to get into that. And, of course, the breaking news that happened around 2 o'clock. Jim Harbaugh could miss the first 4 games of this upcoming season, which starts in a month. I got to stop saying next year.
That's going to be rough for them. First game. It'd be rough not to have your coach there. on the sideline.
Pirates. Dude, take me. Don't go anywhere more after this.
Get your tickets now
at AXS.com
for our 2023 iHeartRadio Music Festival.
T-Mobile Arena here in Las Vegas.
September 22nd and 23rd.
Streaming live only on Hulu.
The iHeartRadio Music Festival.
Brought to you by T-Mobile. Experience more of the music you love with the record-setting 5G network. T-Mobile customers can unlock VIP benefits at the festival all weekend long. It's better over here. See why at T-Mobile.com/SEEWHY.
Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler. Now, total traffic for Philadelphia.
Storms creating problems for your Tuesday drive home. Euclid Township, 100 southbound is blocked between Ship Road and Marchwood due to flooding. Northbound side, crawling Lincoln Highway, the Ship Road with flooding, but traffic does get by. Middletown, Bucks County, Route 1 southbound, that's crawling 213, 413, the down tree in the right lane. Eastbound people, that's calling 202 to Belmont from an earlier crash. 95 northbound, barely moving behind Expressway, all the way up to approaching Coppin. The disable vehicle lane.
They are making me come in extra days.
Sponsored by Acme. Hey, it's me, Food. From when the pros at Acme hand me off to when I'm cleared from your plate, we go through a lot together. As long as you keep showing up, I'll keep showing up fresh. So let's make some memories, friend. See you in the aisles. Sincerely, Food. Sincerely, Acme.
Attention taxpayers.
Let me know.
Some bad news. With $80 billion in new funding from Congress, the IRS
$80
has
billion.
launched their most aggressive hiring campaign ever to ramp up enforcement. If you're ignoring your taxes, don't delay another minute because your paycheck, your bank account, even your home or business could already be at risk. Now, here's the good news. Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax relief firm, can get to work immediately, helping to protect you from the IRS. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, their tax attorneys and licensed professionals are experts at resolving tax problems. Let them help determine if you qualify for the Fresh Start Initiative or other powerful IRS tax assistance programs. Take control. Call Optima Tax Relief now for a free consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Stay tuned to Fox PHL The Gambler for the latest CEOs you should know.
I'm Hassan Reddick, partial owner of R7. We are an energy drink company.
Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
I can't wait for what's next. Even with higher stroke risk due to atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Eliquis, the Pixaban tablets, reduces stroke risk. It's the #1 cardiologist prescribed blood thinner.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without talking to your doctor, as this may increase your risk of stroke. Eliquis can cause serious and, in rare cases, fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or have antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or unusual bruising, or if you have tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. It may increase your bleeding risk if you take medicines, such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Hi, we're Comparion Insurance Agency. Right now, you're thinking, Comparion? Never heard of them. We know. We also know that you have no idea that Comparion Insurance agents are local and provide expert advice. So to help you stick, we're going to say local agent 4 times in the next 15 seconds. Ready? Go. Our local agents know you and your community. Our local agents offer insurance from top carriers. Our local agents have minty fresh breath.
Find us at ComparionInsurance.com. Comparion Insurance Agency. Local agents. Expert advice.
And there's number 4.
Hey, man, you all right? Need me to call 911?
No.
Call Top Dog Law. Get top dollar for your accident at TopDogLaw.com. Once again, that's TopDogLaw.com. Oh, we got John Russell checking back in. What are the boys up to this afternoon? Seeing a lot of Phillies nervousness, some Schwarber slander. Thought his effort was great. Nicky even gave him the tip of the cap going to the dugout. Hashtag ring the bell. Yeah, I don't know. You know, I'm watching, and of course, it goes in the bar can afterwards. And Barkan's a legend. My man is doing this bet.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna say anything about it.
He's doing this this betcast. I tweeted it last night because he said it was the total runs was 4.5, and he goes 4.5, and he came back to 4-1. I'm like, what is he talking about? I don't know, right? But he's hosting a betcast. I don't know. Putting that. he always, and I like. To me, you don't have to lose your mind after every loss when it's a 162. Eagles, 16 games, 17 games. Come on, let's get it right, Brace. It's a different vibe. But when you have 162 and you got to manufacture this anger,
it is very manufactured.
It's just, come on, dude. And I'm watching. It's like, well, I would have put Brandon Marsh in there. I'd have Schwarber out. Ricky Bowe, I'll give him a little bit more because he's from the inside, and he was like, well, he could have done it a little bit differently in the previous inning, and he wasn't losing his mind over having Schwarber. I just don't want to pull Schwarber's bat. Is that okay to say? Like, I don't want to pull Schwarber's bat because that's a guy that if he gets up the plate, which did he or did he not tonight?
He did not.
He didn't?
No. I know he was close, but I think he was a few batters away.
Well, if he does get up and it's an extra inning ball game, or you need a home run to tie the game up.
Yeah, so
he can do it the crack of the bat.
Here's my thing with that. I don't think getting Kyle Schwarber out to bring Brandon Marsh in, if you want to do it defensively, fine, but there's never been a case where Rob Thompson has done that. And you're removing effectively your fifth best hitters. So if you want to just take a look at OPS, your fifth best hitter for your first best hitter with Brandon Marsh. The only case I think Marsh should have come in is if he's pinch hitting for Rojas, because Rojas is a righty bat and Marsh is a lefty. So if you have a right-hander up against Rojas and you want to switch sides, then you bring in Marsh, who is better against right-handed pitching. And you make at least tactically, you make the other team forced to do something if they have a lefty up and you can put somebody in, or you can just play it that way. But that's the only reason I would have done it. Your lineup's struggling. You don't want to take out one of your best hitters, even though you are bringing in your best one, essentially.
Yep.
I just don't think that would be the right case to do it. Again, if it was to take Rojas out and you have a situation where Rojas is up with a couple on and Brandon Marsh could come in for him, that makes sense to me. Rojas isn't hitting well. Rojas isn't one of your best 9 hitters. So bring in Marsh to go in for him.
Didn't he have 2 hits?
He was fine, but still, in a big moment like that, would you still want to not take out Rojas from Marsh? But that's the only thing I could see, because I guess if you want to move in Marsh for defensive purposes, I would understand that, but that's never been done before by Rob Thompson. Rob Thompson's thinking about hitting and getting runs on the board, and I think that's fair because the Phillies have been struggling mightily to do that. And I think it's fair to want to keep in your best hitter or one of your best hitter.
Yeah, that's where I stood. Now, I had no issue with the effort, and I saw
the effort's there.
So many people talking about, well, if he didn't dive, he would have made the catch. And then I think Brandon Marsh would have made the catch if he was out there.
What?
Yeah, I saw some people saying that, like, if he didn't dive, he would have caught it. I'm like, I don't know what you're watching.
I'll tell you, Sean, I'll tell you right now. It doesn't matter what he did. He was not catching the ball.
Yeah, exactly. Unless he was growing arms.
What are we talking about?
But Marsh,
he didn't dive. He wasn't catching it, period.
I think
no matter what he tried to do.
Anybody else would have caught the ball, though. But again, I'm not pointing
at absolutely. That. Marsh would have caught that. Marsh could have gotten it. But again, what's the precedent for doing that? Because they've never done that.
No.
Like there has never been a defensive substitution for Schwarber, I think, yet this season. If it's happened very rarely.
I was going to say, I thought the same. Now, I can remember one other time that it did, but.
And maybe, look, is that something that maybe Thompson should think about doing because the lineup's not been good? And again, you're still putting in Marsh, who is your best hitter at the moment. I get that. But I also don't blame him at all for thinking, why would I take one of my best hitters out? And put Marsh in.
Especially when they could just crack at a bat and it's over. when if Schwarber gets to the plate.
Right. I think the only reason to take him out or the only reason to put Marsh in at that point would be for Rojas, because I feel like outside of defensive purposes, putting Marsh's bat in there for Schwarber is redundant to me, because it's not like they're that far off of hitters at this point.
All right. Some other things to get to here from the sports world. And as I said, it is the ACC Media Day. And we've been talking a lot about the college football conferences that are having Media Day. So let's keep it consistent here. And let's talk about the conference winner for this upcoming year. And we got some great games in that opening weekend. I was looking at the opening schedule, man. I can't wait. Anyways, Clemson is favored to win it at plus 145, Florida State plus 150, and then a huge drop off for UNC, Louisville, Miami, Pitt, NC State, and then stop there. Clemson and Florida State. Do you believe that's who the conference is going to come down to after it's all said and done this year?
Yeah, I think so. And there's some things to like, not to totally dismiss the rest of the ACC, because there are some things to like about Pitt. They got Phil Jerkovich coming in for Boston College, reuniting with his former offensive coordinator at Boston College, who we put up big numbers with. North Carolina has Drake May, and we know how great Drake May has been for North Carolina. I don't want to completely dismiss the rest of the ACC. And look, Miami could get better. Miami was disappointing last year, I would say. But there's a chance Miami could get better this season. But, yeah, I think it is a little top-heavy still, though, because of how good Florida State and Clemson are.
All right. And if I made you make a choice right now, which one are you going with to win the conference?
Maybe it's just because I've seen past examples and I know that Dabo Swinney's done it before. I feel like Clemson has the roster and is primed for a run the table in the ACC type season and to make it to the college football playoff. I think they're that good of a team. Now, Florida State can, because defensively they were great last year. They were just as good as Clemson, maybe better last year defensively. But Clemson has, I think, the higher ceiling defensively. I think they will be the best defensive team, top 3 to 4 defensive team in college football. And Cade Klubnik is going to be good enough that they are back to being one of the better offenses as well.
Yeah, I thought he showed us.
Florida State, what they have is Jordan Travis is the more established quarterback, and they have a great defense. But I just think with the rosters that they have and the recruiting that Dabo Swinney has done, I think the higher ceiling still rests with Clemson.
Clemson will open up on September the 4th with Duke. I believe that game is in Charlotte, if I'm not mistaken. But again, it's got Duke as the home squad. I don't think that really matters because I think it's a neutral site. That's September 4th. Then they got Charles Southern and Florida Atlantic back-to-back. No days off or no weeks off. And then week 4, Florida State coming to Clemson. So that's good. We like that. That's a great matchup.
Oh, that definitely helps. You're right. They get Florida State at home. They get North Carolina at home. Their toughest road game is South Carolina.
Correct.
And that's at the end of the season.
Let me take a peek at
while Florida State, week 1, game number 1, LSU.
Yeah, tough spot.
Who is, a team that people might, and at least I'm looking at potentially for an SEC.
I believe that game is at Tennessee, at the Titans, home of the Titans, if I'm not mistaken, there on that one. That's September 3rd. Like I said, we got a great weekend to get the party started in college football. I know that there are some games the previous weekend, but man, that's the weekend that gets it going. Florida State opens up with LSU, then Southern Miss. Then they got Boston College on the road. See, that's a tough little schedule for them.
It is.
There's it's Cupcake City for Clemson. Florida State, they got to earn their stripes out the chute there. And then week 4, they got Clemson.
But the good thing is the end of their schedule, you get Miami at home, and Pittsburgh on the road is tough. Yeah. So I don't want to dismiss that too much. But you have Miami at home, North Alabama at home, and Florida, which I'm not completely convinced that Florida is going to be that difficult for Florida State. I mean, it's on the road and it's a rivalry game, but I think Clemson with South Carolina is a more difficult final game than Florida for Florida State.
All right, now let's get on over to the Big Ten and talk a little bit about what is happening with Jim Harbaugh in Michigan. Now, this is crazy because I believe this is from the pandemic season which is just, come on, man. The NCAA is a joke. I can't wait. I thought we would start to see some things that we would agree with the NCAA after the NIL and everything that's coming to fruition with that, but it's not the case. It's just ridiculous stuff. Now, Jim Harbaugh did break the rules, and he's going to have to pay, the fines. And of course, it's not a lock, in my opinion. I don't think this is set in stone, but
he might as well just take the 4 games.
4 games. Yeah, the word is
because your first 4 games are
who are they?
Cupcakes.
Oh, ECU, UNLV, Bowling Green, and Rutgers.
I mean, come on.
And they're going to be favored by double-digit points. And
I mean, I know that home opener is going to be tough, but
what he did was tied to alleged violations that took place during COVID, during the COVID recruiting dead period. The initial investigation into Michigan included just 4 level 2 violations, which are less significant in scope, but the failure to cooperate emerged during the investigation. In January, there were multiple meetings between Harbaugh and the NCAA, which he refused to admit lied during the investigation. Oh, so you got to make him an example here.
Sure, make him an example when he comes back to a 4-0 team. They're going to be just fine.
What I would say, though, the good news is at least he's still there, not like Tennessee. You got to feel for those kids that are dealing with all that nonsense, right?
What happened in Tennessee?
Tennessee got handed down, which was what was it, Pruitt, who was there before him?
Oh, yeah.
And he had all sorts of infractions. I think there was a couple players they paid like $3,000, $5,000, whatever it was.
That's it.
But no, the totality, if I'm not mistaken, the infractions were ridiculous. They'll pull that.
They came out the better side of that. I think it was for the best.
Yeah, they did. But I don't know. The scope of the investigation and penalties isn't limited to Harbaugh within the Michigan program. Sources confirmed that the 2 current Michigan assistant coaches, offensive coordinator Sharon Moore and tight ends coach Grant Newsom, are both expected to be sanctioned in the investigation. Yahoo also reported that former Michigan defense coordinator Mike McDonald, now with the Baltimore Ravens, is expected to receive a 1-year show cause penalty. Oh, he's in the NFL. And by the way, if you remember, Harbaugh was flirting with the NFL probably because of this.
You think because of this?
It has to be.
It's 4 games.
Part of it. We didn't know.
No,
he's been getting pestered about this for 3 straight years.
I think he would have an idea of how long the penalty is going to be. I think he would have an idea of knowing, are these infractions going to give me a year
I think there's a possibility that in the back of my mind, if I'm Jim Harbaugh, and they're coming at me over this nonsense that took place 3 years ago. And by the way, how many other programs are getting away with cheating? Doing exactly what he did. That's what pushed Chip Kelly out of college football and into the NFL. Because he cheated, and next thing you know, they came down with the hammer at Oregon.
Well, Pete Carroll's the best example. Pete Carroll got out of there quick when USC was getting all those sanctions. This is different, though. I would imagine you get an understanding that these infractions weren't going to lead to any elongated suspension. And I think he just had legitimate interest in the NFL.
Okay.
But ultimately decided that he just wanted
Harbaugh, 74-25 during his tenure with Michigan, including 25-3 overall and 17-1 Big Ten play over the past 2 years, as we pointed out, back-to-back Big Ten champions. Are we going to make it 3 in a row, John Jansen? And with that being said, DraftKings Sportsbook plus 165 both ways for the Buckeyes and the Michigan Wolverines. Penn State 6-1 with Drew Aller. The biggest hype behind the Penn State quarterback ever. How did you not know who that guy was? Wisconsin plus 750.
It is a lot of pressure on that guy. Poor Aller. It's going to be tough to repeat because, it's not like they were always beating Ohio State.
No.
Michigan's, returning a bunch of players, returning starting quarterbacks and all the such.
When do you and Tansy start doing things?
Tomorrow.
Got to get caught up. And you know what the biggest issue right now for college football for anybody there are freaks like you guys who eat, sleep, and study this stuff. All of that. Then there are people like me who love college football, but also have a life.
You don't want to do the work.
And I do the work.
Just too lazy.
Yeah, all right. But the portal has changed everything. When I looked at what Georgia got in the portal, like who's beating Georgia this year?
That's a great question.
They're not going to lose. Maybe in the playoffs.
I mean, you're seeing some change. I mean, you're changing quarterbacks. That leaves you open at least a little bit.
Isn't he better than Stetson Bennett, though?
Who knows? You don't know. Stetson Bennett did pretty well in Georgia.
Yeah, facts, fair, yeah. I don't know. I know where I stand on that, but we'll see. Only time will tell. Anyways, Michigan
only time
plus 165, Ohio State plus 165. I think I said only time will tell a couple of times in today's show. So if there was a theme,
you don't stop saying.
What, only time will tell? If there was a theme about today's show, it's we got to let time play out for us to tell.
I'm starting to pick up on your tics, your like mannerisms. There's one that I realize that you do all the time.
What's that?
So when something good happens to someone, like they give you news, they did like that.
I like that.
Maybe got a job or something. No. You go, yo, dude, good for you. you do. That's the one that goes. It's the yo, dude. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Whatever. Stupid.
It is. I don't know why that's one of the things I picked up on.
Shoot at 3, you coward. It's a daily ticket.
Are there any things of mine that you picked up on?
No. Honestly, I haven't.
Do you just not pay attention to me when I talk?
No.
Am I that boring to you?
No. The one that is sticking out to me right now is Luke Arcani when he says, obviously. He's a big,
he's a big
obviously guy. Yeah.
I'm a little bit of an obviously guy.
I am. I don't say that because I think when there's a lot of things that are obvious, they're obvious. And I don't think you need to. But that used to be your thing was but.
Have I stopped that?
Yeah, you have.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah. All right. Anyways, daily ticket here. Get us to football season already. Let's see here. I did want to pull this up. And again, nothing too earth-shattering because we did go over the first 4 games, which again, ECU, UNLV, Bowling Green, and Rutgers.
Man, that's a gauntlet. How are they going to survive without Jim? You know what? Honestly, Jim Harbaugh can take a vacation until they get to the Ohio State game and they can go on the sideline.
Geez. See, that's not cool. We don't want that. Like Michigan State's not going to be worth a damn this year. Purdue, Maryland's bringing back Tagovailoa, and he's back. It's a team that can score a lot of points. It's a home game, probably at night.
I mean, come on though. You know what? Actually, the Penn State game. You can go back for that.
There you go. And that game is at Happy Valley.
That's a tough game.
Yeah.
That's why it's hard to say them repeating because Ohio State's obviously going to be good, and Penn State seems like they are up to par with Michigan and Ohio State.
I would wonder if these games with the times that are already locked in, if they're locked in, because that game is scheduled for noon. Now, I understand Penn State, Michigan Ohio State, Michigan is normally a noon kick. I believe it. That's just written in stone.
Wasn't this the first year? Isn't the Big Ten on CBS this year? Isn't that the switch?
I believe that starts this year. I do.
Oh, you know what I keep seeing?
Next year is the change, correct? Next year is when UCLA and USC go to Big Ten. That's next year, correct? I know it's not this year, obviously.
So I don't know what station this is for, what program, but there's a promo for Big Ten Friday nights, right? Have you seen that?
Yes.
And every time that video plays, that Fall Out Boy song is annoying.
What is it?
They have some. I guess it's one of their new songs. But it happens all the time in college football where they'll have a song for the season.
Yeah.
And it was like Imagine Dragons one year. It was like, guys, I want to enjoy college football without having to hear Imagine Dragons every 5 minutes on this program.
Well, did you see
Please stop.
The NFL is rolling out Aerosmith? I'm back. I think that's a CBS hit too as well. Yeah, it's 2000.
Oh, they did. I'm back. Okay.
2000.
I like Aerosmith. Didn't they not do well in their Super Bowl performance? And he's like, hey, can we move on?
The Toxic Twins? I mean, these guys were doing blow back in the 70s.
Excuse me?
I think Steven Tyler was just turned himself into rehab a couple of years ago or 2 years ago.
Man,
anyways,
not
they
caught
will
up on my
join
Steven Tyler.
August 2nd, 2024. How about that, sports fans? The Big Ten, just go ahead and make it all in conference. Let's just do that because you know it's going to happen anyways. All right, daily ticket rolling out. 5 o'clock hours coming up.
Isn't it going to be weird, though, when the Big Ten gets the SEC, CBS music? Isn't that going to be weird?
Oh, it's all going to be weird. Nothing is going to feel right. What's up is down, down is up. You know,
I hate it. I can't stand it. I'm still not used to Joe Buck and Troy Aikman on ESPN. I don't think I ever will get
Mark
over that.
Henry tweeted me the other day about, how Jim Nantz and Tony Romo, because they got the Eagles game 1 for the New England Patriots, and how they're still the best in the booth as far as NFL is concerned. Really? In like 2020, I would have said yes. Are we still saying that now? I thought Tony Romo's annoying. I didn't think people were high on Romo these days.
That is, I feel like that's the popular opinion now, that Romo's just kind of yesterday's news.
I think Buck.
I still think
Buck and Aikman are the best. It's a.
Well, I always like them as a duo better. Yeah. I love Buck.
Yeah, Buck and Aikman.
Because I mean, that's just my child. Because they did all the NFC games.
Tell me about your childhood.
But I still like Romo's enthusiasm. Sometimes he'll step over Nance's call, and he'll be too over the top.
Yes.
And he's getting things wrong now.
Yes.
But I just like his enthusiasm. He does have this childlike wonder towards the game that I'm fine with.
Yeah,
whatever.
Romo.
Yo, dude.
Congratulations, dude. Last thing
you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do. So, head of College Game Day, I just saw this 5 hours ago. ESPN makes a decision on Lee Corso. What's the decision? Do you know?
I mean, he
will be on site for the start of the 2023 season, which is happening in North Carolina. That's North Carolina and South Carolina.
I imagine he won't have a prominent role like he did.
87.
He's 87.
I'll tell you right now, not proud of this tweet, but I tweeted it about 5-6 years ago. I said, I'm done with Corso. Take him out.
No, that was just the wrong take to begin with.
No, I'm done. I was done with Corso 6 years ago. I'll guarantee you.
No, you can't be done with Corso
5 years ago. I
ago.
tweeted that. 5 years ago, I said, enough with Lee Corso. I will tell you that I was wrong.
You were absolutely wrong.
Because he still had a little juice left. But if you're rolling him out there right now, I think that's a mistake.
I know. I think
you got McAfee. That's all you need. Move on. Well, he's replacing Corso.
We're going to see McAfee 24/7.
Yeah.
I just can't.
He's good. He's good.
He's good. Nobody's that good.
That's the Stephen
Nobody's that good.
Stephen A. way.
Nobody wants to see Stephen A. that much.
All right. 5 o'clock hour coming up next. Here's what we got for you. 5:30, brand new Philly Debatable. Debating the Philadelphia sports topics that you're discussing. And on the other side, Bill Colorulo, he joined us, and Legal Hands to the Face is the name of his podcast.
Such a great name.
We talked a little birds a little earlier today. Got the juices going. I'm definitely a little rusty. I got to get back in the lab and read up on all things Eagles.
Did the Eagles go 12-4 last year?
You weren't even paying attention, so at least I was hosting, trying to at least.
I would hope that you would be able to come up with Eagles record.
No,
I would have hoped.
I drew a blank. I'm like, oh my goodness, what were they? Because I had 12 in front of me, or I had 11 and a half in front of me. And as I said, I struggled to come up with 12 wins this year on the schedule. I did. So that was in my mind. Break it down for you.
You got to be better than that.
Legal Hands to the Face podcast. He joined us a little earlier. It's 5 o'clock hour here on the Daily Ticket. Fox Sports to Gambler. John J. Shumbrace back after this.
Don't give in to that constant joint pain. Take control. Take back your quality of life today with help from QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is helping people every day here in Philly and across the country with